I would like to begin by first complimenting the Sufi Kathak Foundation for having taken this initiative to do an examination of the Qawwali traditions. Uh, After all, we have all grown up with the Qawwalis. We have seen them as a means of entertainment. We have listened to Qawwalis at the Mazar, Nizamuddin Auliya Sahab. We have listened to Qawwalis from Ajmer Sharif. And we have learned to live with as a tradition, both as entertainment and as a ritual. If we look at the prevalence of Qawwali, it is mostly in South Asia, particularly India, Pakistan, where we have this tradition, and therefore the linkage to a religious ritual is easily derived, even if it may not be entirely a religious thing, but the connections are made because of where we belong. But the point really is that it is important to examine the origin of Qawwali, to understand Qawwali, what it means and where it relates to people, and what the future of Qawwali could be. Even though South Asia perhaps may have been the place where you have the most prevalence of Qawwali tradition, but if you forget the lyrics, if you forget the words, as a kind of a musical tradition, it is not unknown in other countries also, including in Uzbekistan or Afghanistan. I think if we look at the general nature of that music, the general nature of how it came to be, one has to carefully think whether they were primarily cultural traditions, bringing people together in remote areas of the world, where they had to link up culturally with different societies, not only to survive, but to establish that collaboration, to establish that dialogue with the amongst people, or was it actually religious to begin with? According to one Iranian scholar, Sufism has come from the word Sophia. Now there could be debates on this thing. It has come from the word Sophia, which means wisdom. And if we think of Sufism as a wisdom, which getting away from the religion describes it more as a humanism, I think we come to an entirely different kind of discourse then. Similarly, Qawwalis, if you find that Qawwali music can touch the same kind of feelings in India, Uzbekistan, and going beyond Central Europe. So, if we look at the human race, if we look at Qawwali and Sufism as a kind of traditions which brought people together, irrespective of who they were. Another example, I mean, the Baul music in Bengal. You listen to the Baul music and you have this very articulate combination of getting completely lost in your surroundings, thinking of the superior being from whom all power or from whom all that comes to us flows, and then you compare the music of or the Qawwalis and the Baul music, and you find that there is a great deal of similarity. One is a Hindu tradition, even though you have Muslims singing the Baul music, and the other is considered to be Islamic tradition. So where do they intersect with each other? Therefore, without really speaking for too long, my submission would be that we should look at these traditions not in any religious context. The religious context to all this came later on. There was a need for the human society to come together, to define themselves, and the religion, or what we call philosophy, the denomination that we belong to, whether it is Christianity or Jews or whatever it is, that became a label. But even before those labels came, there were these traditions. Qawwali does not lend itself only to a religious interpretation. It is more a cultural tradition which has lent itself to use by religion to bring people together. And I'm delighted indeed, Manjari, that you have undertaken the task to do a seminar. I hope that at the end of the day, when we look at Qawwali as a tradition of humanism, when we look at Qawwali as a tradition which is common to South Asia as people rather than as different societies, I think we shall come to some very interesting conclusion which will benefit not just this cultural tradition, but the people who perform this tradition. Thank you very much.